we saved over 8,000 New Zealand dollars in visa fees, and that is equivalent to more than 60% of what we would have spent. Hi guys, this is Jo and I'm still sharing about our life here in New Zealand. And in this video, yan ang i-share ko sa inyo. And if you want to find out more, baka makatulong sa inyo, please stay tuned. If you've watched my other videos, you would know that we came here through a study visa. So, nag-aral ako level 9, which is a master's degree. Kaya naisama ko yung husband ko tsaka yung anak namin. 13 months later, we were able to get our residency visa. And I would say we were very lucky kasi inabutan namin yung old skilled migrant category 180 points na program. So, iba na siya ngayon, and in other videos, I will discuss that. But what we'll talk about today is yung natipid namin sa visa fees just because we were able to skip the post-study work visa. Nakadiretso kami from study to resident visa. Normally, ang pathway would be mag-start ka to study, and then, kung eligible ka, depende sa level of study mo, dadaan ka ng post-study work visa. Ito yung period kung kailan pwede kang maghanap ng trabaho mo. Naka-open work visa yan, alam ko. And then, para magkaroon ka ng chance mag-qualify for residency. In my other video, I shared yung importance ng pagpili ng level of study. Kasi sa dulo, gusto mo syempre maging residente ka dito and eventually maging citizen. So in our case, we were able to skip that whole part ng post-study work visa. Yung mga ginawa namin to do that, to be able to do that, I will share towards the end of this video. Pero unahin muna natin ay yung visa fees. Alright? So you see that ikaw na principal applicant for the post-study work visa, ang visa fees mo ay 1,700 NZ dollar. Okay? And then yung mo, since work visa din ang magiging visa niya, it's also 1,700 NZ, okay, dollars. And then, kung may anak kayo, bawat isa sa kanila is 750 New Zealand dollars. Alright, and then, kailangan nyo rin ng medical. Around 300 per head ang magagastos nyo. So, sa case namin, we are a family of 3. Ang approximate na magagastosan na namin for all that is about 5,050 NZ dollars. Alright, and then after that, if you qualify, assuming you qualify for the residency, ang magagastos mo naman, ang fee ngayon for residency visa, buong family na kayo dito, is about 6,500 New Zealand dollars. And again, depende naman kasi kung hindi pa expired yung inyong mga medical record, medical results, pwede nyong gamitin yon. Pero if lagpas na ng 3 years, alam ko 36 months, you will need to do your medicals again. And that would be about 300 per head again. And sa residency, required ang English exam, lalo na if hindi naman dito nag-aral, and then if above 16 years old, required na ng English exam, which is IELTS or PTE. Regardless kung alin doon yung kukunin ninyo, ang bawat isa na mag-exam is $500. Alright, so in our case, since tatlo kami, just assuming ngayon kami nag-apply, that would be 6,500 plus 500 plus 300 again per head na medical, bringing the total to 7,850 New Zealand dollars. Alright, so on screen you will see that the post-study work visa, which is 5,050 New Zealand dollars, plus yung 7,850 New Zealand dollars for the residency, ang total is 12,900 New Zealand dollars. Ganon siya kalaki. Kaya dapat ngayon pa lang pinag-iisipan niya talaga ninyo yung pathway ninyo and kung saan kukunin yung funds para i-finance yung visa fees. Remember, visa fees pa lang ito at saka yung medical and English exam. Kung kukuha kayo ng licensed immigration advisor, which is more likely safer for you to do, then iba pa yung ibabayad ninyo sa inyong immigration advisor. Hindi pa kasama dyan sa $12,900. Okay, since nabanggit ko yung tungkol sa licensed immigration advisor, let me just be clear that I am not a licensed advisor, alright? I'm just sharing our journey, our experience, so you can also learn from it. Required ba na kumuha ng immigration advisor? Hindi naman. Pwede ka naman mag-DIY, but then it's always like recommended to get one for your peace of mind and kung marami kang questions para guided ka. Remember, hindi biro yung halaga na ibabayad mo sa mga to na visa applications. Kaya maganda na lang na meron kang information from a licensed person. Alright. So, yung fees ng mga licensed immigration advisor, nag-iiba-iba din yan. Depende sa klase ng visa na ina-apply nyo. Siguro sa post-study work visa, that will be around 2,000 to 3,000 New Zealand dollars. Sa residency, definitely mas mahal yan. About 3,000 maybe to 5,000 or even more. Depende sa complexity ng case ninyo. Alright. Now we go back to the savings. Paano nga ba kami naka-create or naka-save ng 8,000 New Zealand dollars? So remember, hindi na kasi kami dumaan ng post-study work visa. Sa point pa lang na yon, nakatipid na kami ng 5,050 New Zealand dollars, and that is a very substantial amount. And ang isa pang nakatulong sa amin is maaga kasi kaming nag-apply. We came to New Zealand in October 2022. Inaral ko na kasi prior pa kami dumating dito, inaral ko na yung mga pathways na pwede sa amin. May plan A, plan B, plan C na kami. And then so December, nagkaroon ng work ang husband ko ng November, agad kong in-apply yung expression of interest namin. Ang program noon for residency na pwede kami is skilled migrant category, 180 points. Kailangan namin bumuo ng 180 points para mag-qualify kami dun sa program na yon. Kinuha yung mga points na yun iba-iba sa work experience ni husband, sa education, kung nasan kami, Auckland, kung ilang years na siyang nag-work dito, and all those things. Hindi na yun yung rule ngayon. SMC 6 na ang tawag, so hindi na mag-a-apply sa inyo yung aming in-apply noon. Nagbayad kami EOI, 500 New Zealand dollars. Ang catch is drawlets siya. So even if pasok ka sa points, hihintayin mo yung luck mo kung kailan ka mabubunot dun or mapipili bago ka ma-invite ni Immigration New Zealand to send that application for residency. So December yon, buti na lang January lumabas yung results, nasama si husband ko dun sa nabunot. So sinulatan kami ni INZ inviting us to send our application for residency. Plus, yung mga requirements, yung mga documents to support kung ano man yung mga pinag-claim naming points sa EOI. And that time, ang binayaran namin for the residency was 4,000, around 4,400 or 4,500 New Zealand dollars. Buong family na yon. And guys, dahil hindi na kami nagpa-medical kasi nagamit namin yung medicals namin at saka yung English exam results namin from the time na nag-study ako. Remember, wala pa kasing 3 years, hindi pa expired yung mga yon. Nagamit namin lahat. Ang pinarenew lang would be yung NBI kasi lagpas 6 months na siya. So, ang dami naming na-save. Ang nagastos lang namin ng total, EOI 500 plus yung 4,400 na, or sabi mo ng 4,500 na, na visa fee. That's just around 5,000 New Zealand dollars. Alright. So, remember kanina, ang total sana na magagastos mo post-study visa plus the residency visa and IELTS and medical would be 12,900. We only spent 5,000 dollars. Malaki pa rin. Pero, ang savings namin, 8,000 New Zealand dollars. Sobrang laki. And if you convert it to peso, that's around 280,000 pesos. Sobrang laki. Plus, hindi na kami umulit ng mga process. Medicals, diba? Ang daming gastos plus yung oras ninyo. Alright, so yun lang. Sobrang gusto ko siyang i-share na nakakatuwa na nakasave kami ng 8,000 New Zealand dollars na pwede na namin, ginamit na namin sa ibang paraan. Alright. So, anong ginawa namin? Share ko yung iba namin ginawa na feeling ko maa-apply ninyo, and very practical lang tong mga to, walang magic. First is, we planned it out early. Sobrang yun talaga yung pag nire-review ko, ano bang ginawa ko, kung bakit namin yun na-achieve, no? Kasi, nasa Philippines pa kami, talagang lagi na akong nagdo-drawing ng plano namin, nagbabasa ako, which is my number 2 suggestion naman, is tambay kayo sa website ng INZ, ng Immigration New Zealand. Tapos nagbabasa lang talaga ako kasi noon time na yun, pabago-bago, hindi pa tapos ng COVID, tapos kaka-open lang ng New Zealand. So, sobrang daming changes. Sa totoo lang, simple naman yung pagkakasulat sa website, pero ang dami kasing information na feeling ko nakaka-bore, nakakalito, gusto mo ng kausap na tao, kaso pag kailangan mo ng immigration advisor, may bayad, so wala namang, alam mo yon. Tapos, hindi ka naman sure sa mga iba mong makakausap like sa forum or sa community kasi experience nila, baka hindi applicable sa experience mo. Tsaka hindi na yun yung policy. Iba yung policy nung time na sila. Kami, ganyan. So, ang talagang ginawa lang namin is magplano. Pinag-isipan namin si husband kasi IT siya. So, nakadagdag yon na parang portion na luck. Kasi nung time na yun ng IT ay kasama sa absolute skill shortage. Ngayon, hindi na yun ginagamit. Ang ginagamit nila is yung green list. And mas konti na yung nasa green list. Ito yung mga medyo higher in chances for residency kasi meron silang straight to residence or mag-work muna sila for a certain number of years, like 2 years, and then mag-a-apply na sila for residency. Kaya kung nandun yung career nyo, yung work nyo sa green list, then you have a very high chance na maskip yung post-study kung galing kayo sa study or makadiretso kayo sa residency from the Philippines nga pwede. Alright, so ang point lang dito, point being, is if you plan it out, then you'll be able to see ano yung pathway na applicable sa inyo. And also, di ba, kami kasi principal si husband, we also looked into what if hindi kami ma-approve doon, what if hindi mag-work. Then we know that as being a student then and eventually magagraduate, ako yung plan B. Baka ako din pwede akong maging principal if hindi pwede si husband. So, meron kaming plan A, meron kaming plan B. Then we also still have a plan C. What if hindi kami pareho, diba? Tapos paubos na yung post-study work visa namin. Anong next step namin? And then that's why we realized that after post-study work visa, kung hindi kami ma-residente after that, meron pang accredited employer work visa na pwedeng gamitin namin, mag-extend pa kami a few years, nag-work, para magkaroon ng enough points or credentials para maka-apply ng residency. We also consider that. What if hindi pa rin yun mag-work? Then, pwede siguro kung mag-aral pa ba ako? Kaya ko pa bang mag-PhD? Diba? Yung mga ganon, para lang alam nyo, habang tumatagal, ano pa yung mga options ninyo? And it's really good if you plan it sa umpisa pa lang. Kasi para guided kayo, saan ba kayo papunta? Like kami nun, very conscious ako, very mindful. Saan ba dapat mag-a-apply ng work? Fino-focus ko yung energy ko doon sa paghahanap ng work for husband. Kasi para wala kaming nasasayang na oras. Alam mo yun, yung habang lumalakad yung panahon, nabubuo namin yung qualifications na kailangan towards the residency. And you'll only be able to do that kung familiar kayo dun sa requirements na kailangan ninyo to become a resident. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, bago ka pa umalis ng Philippines, planuhin mo na yung residency mo. Total yun ang gusto mo, ba? Diba? Hindi ka naman gumagastos para lang magbakasyon. Kasi ang ganda ng New Zealand, pag nakita mo parang ayaw mo nang umalis. That is like, for me. So, kami, talagang sabi ko na ayoko na talagang umuwi. Hindi pwedeng hindi kami ma-resident. That's why siguro, kakabasa, nakita ko ano yung pwede namin gawin. And even if we fail, then we have backup options. So that's number 1, planning it out really early. And number 2, keep reading the INZ website so you are updated. And number 3, to schedule. Ni-schedule ko, tinitingnan ko, okay, pagdating namin, hahanap ka ng trabaho lab. Pagkahanap mo ng trabaho lab, na qualified for residency, pa-file ko na yan. Pagka-file ko, eto, ganyan. So, alam ko na kung kailangan kong mag-file at this certain point, ano ba ang mga documents na kailangan ko? Anong requirements? So, ilang buwan ba bago ko makuha yung requirements na yon? Kailangan ng proof of funds, kailangan ng English exam. So, lahat yun, piniprepare mo na. Hindi yung kung kailan qualified ka na. Hindi ka pala maka-apply kasi hindi mo pa pala ready yung ibang documents. So, I have a friend, no, na abutan sila nung increase ng visa fees. Eligible na sana silang mag-apply nung SMC 6. Tapos, ang visa fees lang was the 4,500 like hours, no. Kaso, hindi pala sila nakapag-apply nung IIQA, which proves na yung kanilang level of education is at par or acceptable kay New Zealand. So, what happened? Inabutan sila nung pag-increase nung visa fees. Naging, imbes na 4,500, naging 6,500. So, they, paid extra 2,000 just because hindi ready yung document na kailangan sana nila, pero qualified na sana sila that time. Alright, so that's just an example and it could be different for everyone. Alright, so number 4 is we applied as a family unit. Because again, yung visa fees for residency is sa buong family na siya, hindi siya individual. There were instances na yung nag-apply lang is principal. Kasi inisip, I don't know for whatever reason, baka inisip nila si principal munang mag-apply or may hindi reading documents yung partner or yung family, yung mga anak. So, si principal muna. After a while, i-apply nila yung mga family members, which is pwede naman. It's just that you will have to pay another 6,500 for every time that you apply for residency sa mga family members ninyo. So, kaya kami nun, dahil na-take advantage namin yon, we applied as a family unit. So, in short, isa lang yung visa fee na binayaran namin for all of us. And then residency kasi depende siya. May options naman na iba-iba. Nagkataon lang na since galing ako sa study pathway, kaya yun yung aking sinishare, yun yung savings na ito ka sa inyo. And it would be very different if ibang pathway naman yung inyong dadaanan. But I think that the lessons that we're sharing right now can also apply to you. Again, the 4 things that we did that you can also do if you want to save on visa fees would be first to plan it out really early. As in, nasa Philippines ka pa, kung possible, planuhin mo na step 1, step 2 hanggang residency. If nandito ka na, it's still applicable. Plan it out. Hanapin mo ano yung pathway na mag-work for you and make sure ready lahat ng kailangan mo. Then just keep reading INZ website, policies, news, forum, FB community. Huwag tamarin and huwag kang umasa lang sa sasabihin ng iba. Remember, kahit nga pag may license immigration advisor ka, it still pays to read so that you know what to ask. If you don't read, you don't know what to ask. And then you don't even know if you're getting the correct information. So, ang kailangan mo kasi, guided ka, alam mo, and then may someone na authorized na magsasabi sa'yo you're on the right track. Alright, so just keep reading. Huwag tamarin, mga kapatid. Huwag puro chismis ang babasahin sa FB, alright? And then schedule. Make sure everything you need is there. Kung ano man yung pwede nyo nang i-prepare, huwag nyo ipa-last minute, i-prepare nyo na. Para nandyan na, pag nandyan na yung opportunity, ibigay mo na lang, alright? And then apply as a family unit para ma-avail ninyo yung one time na kayo magbabayad ng visa fees. Alright, so those are my just practical tips and hopefully makatulong din sa inyo. If there are things that you'd like me to talk about, like yung mga terms na binabanggit ko, SMC6, etc., just let me know, comment them down below. And please subscribe, like, and share this video as well. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.
Bye, girl.